Hi, my name's CJ. I own a 1997 crystal white Mustang Cobra. So I got the car, a gentleman out of northern Ohio wanted to trade this car for a Cougar, an older Cougar. And so the guy that he wanted to trade with him didn't want this car, and they knew I wanted it, or this type of car. So they went through and did a whole trade deal where he gave him the Cougar, he took the car, and then basically sold it to me. And when I got the car, it was fairly bone stock. There wasn't much done to it other than a little bit of lowering springs and some small doodads, and very unkept. It was not taken care of very well at all. So when I got the car in 2016 is when I started the process of staring at it for days upon weeks to really get a vision of what I wanted to do. Because some people just throw stuff at cars and not actually have a mission for what it's supposed to look like in the end. So I have a lot of days and hours sitting in the garage on a chair similar to this and staring at the car and just envisioning what I wanted it to look like and what the mission was. My favorite memory, it's one thing when young kids, they're into cars and they love the car, and definitely the car guys. But for me, the true moment of happiness with this car is I'm backing out of my driveway, getting ready to go for a cruise, and this, let's just say 80-year-old woman is about a half a block behind me backing up. And I'm always conscious of causing a scene. I'm not trying to make my neighborhood blow up with loud cars and be in this new age where everybody wants to cause a ruckus. And so I'm very conscious of that. I look back and I hear something yell at me, and car's loud, so I reach my head, I lean my head out, and this 80-year-old woman literally yells out, "Rev it up!" And for me, that was one of the funnest, coolest moments of owning this car, is because they have no investment in the scene or anything like that. And this old lady yelling at me, "Rev it up!" And so, I hit the gas and give her a few little RPM bumps, and then all of a sudden she's back there just smiling like a young kid. And for me, that was probably one of the coolest, happiest moments of my life with the car, that had nothing to do with the scene or anything, just an old lady just enjoying the moment. And it put a smile on my face, and I thought it was pretty fun. So the motor's pretty much stock. I have done some small things to it, the bigger wires, MSD coils, underdrive pulley kit, strut tower brace. I've tried to keep the motor fairly stock. I want more reliability than horsepower. It does have a stock transmission in it, Bassani crossover, an exhaust system on it that I honestly don't know the name of. Came with the car. And then I did switch out the gears for 373s. It did come with 410s in it, which is absolutely obnoxious. For these cars in a 5-speed, you're humming at 3,200 RPM at 65 miles an hour. Not appropriate for these cars at all, but 373 still gives you that flexibility of horsepower, but doesn't over rev the motor like crazy. And then when I bought the car, it was lowered on some good old-fashioned lowering springs, but that was not acceptable. So I ended up installing the airlift 3-piece system to give it the flexibility to get on lifts, over bumps, speed bumps, but yet still I could be as low as I wanted to for appearance purposes. So that was more of a utilitarian situation than actual styling, even though it does add great style to it. Then for the trunk setup, I built a complete custom speaker box, wood flooring in the trunk to hold all the items for the air ride, the tank, everything like that. I wanted it clean and simple and easy to get to. yet still looking stylish and fashionable, and match the car from front to back, because a lot of guys, they just throw stuff together that shouldn't be there. Just because you can buy it doesn't mean you need to install it. Then after that, a lot of it was just styling and making the car look as good as possible, because as we know, these cars get no love. Factorily built, they are kind of hideous. Let's just be honest with you. The styling of the car is great, but they need these other things to make the car look appropriate. So I started with the carbon fiber addiction and did the cow panel carbon fiber. I had a company special make carbon fiber side mirrors for it, so I could be totally different and not chase the Cobra mirrors like everybody does. Then I went into the S281 spoiler, carbon fiber. Obviously tinted the taillights, because the color scheme on the car is black and carbon fiber / black, so I had to keep with the same styling. So tinted the taillights, did the sequential taillight kit, which is a must on these cars. It just looks ridiculous with no sequentials. I also did the Envoy. Sorry guys, I put a GM part on this car. I'm hardcore Ford, but it just had to be done because the factory fog lights are trash. They look goofy. So did the Envoy fog light upgrade kit, and of course, for all you guys out there with horsepower, we know stickers make a difference. So I had to do the GT500 Cobra badges, so that way they would look appropriate. The factory ones are just so small and look not right on the car. I did a little stubby carbon fiber antenna, and that's pretty much for the outside, tinting all the taillights. I also did a aero kit. I don't have the front splitter on. I don't like the way it looks right now. A lot of fab to make it look right, so I've left it off, but I got the aero side splitters on it. I've also got a rear diffuser custom mounted, because there's nothing worse than when a person puts a diffuser on a car and you see that flat bar up there, you know what I mean, the top plate. So I sucked that down and custom mounted it on a car that doesn't have any mounting points for that item, but it makes a huge difference on the car. So interior wise, there is some modifications and changes. Like I said, I started with the factory interior. Again, I don't know why they did a two-tone dash and a same color door panels and rear panels. I don't understand that, so I had to take all that out, paint it with the actual flow of the car so everything's black and tan like it's supposed to be. I've also, again with my carbon fiber addiction, did the A-pillars carbon fiber, the center dash with a double DIN radio upgrade, which is a must for people. It's a little bit of work, but it's worth it in the long run. Get away from that single DIN radio setup. Also carbon fiber center console lid, door pulls, also replaced the carpet, went with carbon fiber. So I tried to clean all that up. I also did the inlay in the dash, pulled that all apart, put it together, so that way I could have as much carbon fiber and black in there to mix as much as possible. I also did a rear seat delete, which took me a month and a half. Did the best I could to match up the leather, did a raised lettering of SVT and exposed the speakers with a Ford oval. It's all leather in there. Again, try to match the plastics and the black as best as possible, but yet still keep with the factory flow with the car. And again, nobody needs to ride in the back seat of these cars. So that's part of the reason why I deleted it out. Don't care about the weight savings, just wanted to look better and feel more customized and special than just the factory look to the car. What's funny is I run around with fat balls, Tony, you know what I mean? And so we go back and forth and things like that. And he's been a big builder in these cars. I'm not the best photographer. I'm not the best highlighter. I'm not the best promoter of myself in my car. So what the pictures see, I think I do an okay job, but what I enjoy is when people get to see the car, the number one thing I always hear is, it looks better in person. because now you truly get to see the carbon fiber mirrors, all the carbon fiber work, everything that fits together appropriately. And I feel that in my taste, I've done it justice for the car and tried to make it look the best as possible for these cars. Again, they're unloved. Everybody likes the new Edge, love them too, but I really wanted to build something for myself and make it feel special and really highlight these cars of what they have the potential to be. I know a lot of guys out there just throw parts at them and there's no consistency or plan whatsoever. To each his own, but for myself, I had to have a plan and a mission because I am not buying parts twice. You know what I mean? So yeah, Tony was a big inspiration. He's done some amazing cars, and I've taken some of his inspiration from his cars and adapted it to mine a little bit. But yeah, I just wanted to highlight it and make it look as best as possible. Thank you for sticking around to let me talk about my 97 Cobra and what I've done to it. I also want to give a shout out to Cobra Owners. He's done a great job with the page, the YouTube, Instagram, keeping this scene alive and representing this community of SVT owners, whether you're New Edge, SN95. Yes, I separate them because they're two different cars, even though it's the same. So I get it. So I appreciate that, and thank you again for the opportunity. If you want to follow me, I'm on Instagram, bagged SVTCJ. I'd love to help out anyone, questions, comments. Make sure you like this video as well. Keep that support for Cobra Owners as well. But again, for the young guys, anyone, definitely reach out. I communicate myself with all the pages and talk about the car and help anyone out, especially the young kids coming up, to keep these cars alive. It takes positive reinforcement on keeping everybody educated to keep these cars alive. So I greatly appreciate the opportunity, and if anybody has any questions or comments, please leave them on this video or send me a message on Instagram, DM me, and I'll message you back as fast as I can. So thank you guys and have a great day.